Hello and welcome into Ball State Football 2023 National Signing Day with head coach Mike to break down all things Ball State football. Almost 25 official signees here on signing day for Ball State. Coach, it is a great day to be a Ball State Cardinal because there's so many high school kids, college transfers that are now going to be a part of this Ball State family.
Yeah, there's no question. You know, you get up this morning and obviously we met in here as a staff at 6:45 a.m., anticipating that first one to come through at 7 a.m. So a lot of excitement, anticipation to get to this day, but really need to start by just saying thank you to our staff for just the tireless work that goes into the entire evaluation process. So much goes into the film evaluation, prospect camp evaluation, evaluating grades and transcripts, and really just building a relationship. And so a long process to get to today, but certainly is exciting. And you know, if I certainly need to take time to mention everybody here at Ball State University that's involved when we do host official visits or unofficial visits to be able to have prospects on our campus, and just to take the time to tell them what Ball State's all about. Really, our professors, especially on these official visits, that spend time with the prospects and their families on the Saturday morning breakfast to really make sure they feel great about what we have to offer academically as well. So a lot that goes into it, but super thankful to have such a great staff that works tirelessly and everybody here involved on Ball State's campus.
Yeah, Coach, there's so many people involved, not just in this facility, but like you mentioned, all across campus that help make Ball State football go round. So let's dive into these units that are going to now be Ball State Cardinals. First, starting off with the offensive line. Coach, first one on the board, Zach Bandy, high school from Avon High School. This is an exciting signee to start off with.
Yeah, you know, Coach Johnson identified way early in the process Zach Bandy, and so here's a young man from Indianapolis, Avon High School, that we're excited because he's going to be a mid-year enrollee as well, but such a great frame, being 6'5", 290 pounds, and really feel like he's got such a high ceiling. So excited to be able to get Zach in here. Really feel like he's one of those guys that you never know, man. He could line up at all 5 spots according to Coach Johnson, which can't wait to get him in here and get the development process started.
So Zach Bandy, the first signee we're talking about here for Ball State football. Zach was an all-state player for the Orioles, also a team captain, chosen as All-League in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. He chose Ball State as his new collegiate home. Our next Ball State football signee is C.J. Zeltwanger from Harrison High School. Coach, he is somebody that's a big, powerful guy and can move people in their tracks.
CJ's another one of those guys with great size, 6'5", 305 pounds. You already nailed it. You know, he's a big, powerful guy that can move people, perfect for what we're trying to get done in terms of establishing the trenches. So he's a guy with a tremendous amount of upside as well. Also another guy, as you mentioned, from Lafayette, Harrison High School, that, you know, Coach Johnson has certainly had an opportunity to see him every step of the way, and he's going to be a great addition to our program here.
So CJ comes from Harrison High School, top 50 All-State team, senior captain, helped lead the Raiders to a 9-2 record that included a 7-0 first-place finish in the North Central Conference. Another signee for Ball State football in the trenches on the offensive side, Ryan Eldridge from Goshen High School. Coach, I know you're excited about him too.
No question. You know, Ryan's a guy with tremendous size, 6'6", 260 pounds, great frame, multi-sport athlete here in high school. Obviously, I've had a chance to evaluate him during the high school process, but also had a chance to have him here on campus during one of our prospect camps. Really, that's what sealed the deal for us in terms of being able to see him up close and in person. But he's a guy that, boy, he's, you know, got all the tools. Can't wait to develop him. Can't wait to get him here. Really, he's going to change when you get him in the weight room and everything that goes into that. So a great addition for us, and certainly a tremendous upside.
Brady Barrowman, our last high school offensive lineman here on signing day that we'll chat about. Coach, high school kid coming from Illinois. This is another exciting offensive lineman addition.
Yeah, there's no question. You know, Brady's one of those guys that is the ultimate competitor. He too, multi-sport athlete from high school, great size, 6'5", 275 pounds. But the one thing that stands out about him so much is just he loves to compete. Very tough guy, excels at everything he does. I know Coach Johnson's compared him often to Tidrow, which is a great comparison. Taron did special things for us last year in his first year as a starter. So another guy that obviously he's got great days ahead of him. Certainly once he gets in here and starts the development process, but a really big addition for us.
Now looking at some transfer offensive lineman signing with Ball State football here in 2023, Yasser Alawadi from Western Illinois, coach, an offensive lineman that transfers in with some experience for Ball State.
Which is great. Obviously, Yasser is one of those guys that we identified as soon as he hit the portal. Obviously, he started left tackle a year ago for Western Illinois. Elite length. Obviously, being 6'7", 325 pounds. He's one of those guys that's got college game experience, understands the speed of the game. So feel like he's got so many great days ahead of him. A lot of football left ahead of him. Certainly an impressive young man when we had him here on the official visit. Great family. So very excited to add him to our family here and can't wait to get to work.
Also, through the shot put in high school, you're getting a very tough player when that's the case.
Yeah, when you can throw and you have explosiveness like that, certainly that's an added benefit. And Yasser's certainly one of those guys that has those skills and tools and can't wait to work on those.
Our final offensive lineman signing to Ball State football here today is a transfer from Cincinnati, Luke Dalton, coach.
Yeah, we recruited Luke heavily coming out of high school, so really it established a great relationship. And when we saw him enter the portal there from Cincinnati, it was a no-brainer. We attacked that, from when we very first saw that. And Luke's one of those guys that, he's a natural tackle, but he can also play guard. Very mature guy, been in a college program for 2 years, has done a great job in the weight room, got a lot of great days ahead of him. Very excited. Obviously that relationship, we leaned on that, as the recruiting process, went forward with Luke. So excited to have him finally be part of our family here and looking forward to getting to work with him.
Stop us if you've heard this before. A 6'6" high school tight end committing to Ball State football. That's exactly what Ball State's getting with Mason Riggins out of Zionsville High School, coach.
Yeah, excited to add Mason. You mentioned it being 6'6", 235 pounds right now, and he hadn't really even stepped in to the weight room at the college level yet. But coming to us from Zionsville High School down the road, just excited. Here's a guy that's a true combo type of tight end that can play both the tight end positions in our offense. Great skill set, very versatile, can move him around. Really good blocker. You can see that on tape, and really he's become better and better and better just from a route running standpoint. So really excited just about the total package and what he brings to the tight end room.
And he caught passes from current Ball State tight end Christian Abney while in high school at Zionsville. Within Mason's framework in high school, chosen as one of 2 tight ends as the Indy Stars Class 6A Senior All-State team. That is Mason Riggins joining Ball State football. Another freshman tight end set to join Ball State football here on 2023 Ball State football signing day is Cam Anthony from Hamilton Southeastern High School.
Yeah, Cam Anthony is a multi-sport athlete in high school, really excels both on the basketball court and the football field. 6'5", so he's got great size, athleticism, being 210 pounds. He's got such a great frame in terms of being able to add weight, do that the right way. But boy, this guy's got great route running ability, really good speed, and very high ceiling. So excited about what lies ahead for Cam. And obviously, naturally, when you make the transition to one sport in college, obviously everything that goes into the training, just excited to see what the future lies ahead here for Cam.
Cam was in high school honorable mention selection on the Indiana Football Coaches Association Top 50 All-State team. Also earned first team All-League honors in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. From one Hamilton Southeastern player to another, from tight end to running back, let's jump into the book of Jalen Alexander, running back.
Yeah, fired up to have 2 teammates here. Those guys are Jalen and Cam being teammates at Hamilton Southeastern. But, Jalen's one of those guys at 5'11", 195, almost 200 pounds. He's one of those guys that's got the speed to run by you, but he also embraces the physicality of the position when it's time to grind out some tough yards. But he also is one of those guys that very versatile at the position. He can run when it's time to run, embraces the blocking role, also can catch the ball out of the backfield. So really excited about the skill set with Jalen and looking forward to getting him in our program.
17 touchdowns for Jalen, 1,400 rushing yards last year for the running back committed to Ball State from Hamilton Southeastern. One more running back to talk about here for Ball State football's 2023 signing class, DJ Williams out of Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, DJ, similar size-wise in terms of Jalen being 5'10", 195 pounds, but very similar in terms of style of runner. very physical when it's time to be physical, got good speed, and he's too is one of those guys that, when you talk about being a complete running back, he possesses that, being good out of the backfield with the ball, being good in the passing game, and also embracing the blocking role when it's time to get that done. So very excited about, both DJ and Jalen, both great additions to that running back room.
DJ, over 2,400 rushing yards in his career and 30 touchdowns on the ground in high school. Ball State football bringing in one quarterback in the 2023 class. Chase Harrison transfer from Marshall. Coach, you kind of know this family a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Chase's dad, Mike Harrison, I was teammates with him for 1 year here at Ball State. Mike was a tremendous punter here for our program and comes from a great family. So really excited to add Chase. He started his career at Marshall, but when you watch the tape and you see his ability, locates it at a high level, but also is very athletic, can extend plays, got very good mobility. So he's going to come in, embrace the competition. That's one thing that certainly stood out. His competitive spirit, his natural leadership ability, those are things that you can see very early when you spend time around Chase. And just excited to get him in here in January and go compete in that room, and he's going to embrace that.
Chase spent 2 years at Marshall, but in high school was All-Ohio with multiple prep All-America honors. Jumping over to our last position group on the offensive side at wide receiver. Coach, you're smiling ear to ear with this signing for Ball State football. Second team All-MAC at wideout, Josiah Gathings. He played at Akron. He's transferred to Ball State.
Yeah, second team All-MAC selection speaks for itself, but Josiah, very productive a year ago for Akron in their offense. Got really good size, being 6'2", 180 pounds. But this guy's a football junkie, loves to talk the game, a very tough guy, very competitive, a lot of contested catches where he went up and really just came down with those balls that you always talk about that are 50-50. So he's going to be a great addition to our wide receiver room. A very competitive guy, loves the game, really can't wait to get to work, and has got a very contagious personality.
Josiah led Akron in receiving yards and catches last season, joining Ball State football as a wide receiver. Another wide receiver from the transfer portal coming to Ball State football, Trey Firestone from Purdue after a couple seasons with the Boilermakers.
Yeah, and we recruited Trey heavy coming out of high school down the road as well at Zionsville. So now we welcome another Zionsville high school addition to the program. Excited about that. But Trey's got great size, 6'2", almost 190 pounds, but very polished route runner, very good hands, great body control. He's one of those guys that, you can see him playing multiple spots in our receiver room, whether it's, the slot, outside, backside, but he's one of those guys that, had a great relationship coming out of high school, so finally excited to have him join our program.
That's Trey Firestone out of Purdue, Zionsville High School, 6'2", 186, redshirt sophomore. Last transfer wide receiver joining Ball State football on signing day, Justin Bowick from Eastern Illinois. Coach, another wide receiver to this group.
And as a quarterback and being a former quarterback, you always love having guys that have size. And we've got different body types in terms of this receiver room in this class right now. But make no mistake, getting Justin in here in January, going to work. Great size, great range. He's one of those guys that makes some explosive plays. And also in addition to that, high character guy that loves to work. Just can't wait to get him in here. And obviously this was a big get for us during the recruiting process.
500 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns last year for Eastern Illinois as Bowick joins the Ball State football family. Wide receiver committing to Ball State from the junior college ranks is Jamarian McDougall out of Butler Community College.
Yeah, obviously one of the most successful junior colleges out there in Butler, but first thing that comes to mind when you talk about Jamarian is speed. This guy can stretch the field, create explosive plays for us. Obviously, he's got great ability to track the deep ball, and he's got good size, too, for a guy that typically when you talk about speed, guys, sometimes, guys don't have the 6'1", 170-pound frame that Jamarian does. So excited he'll also be a mid-year guy for us that comes in January. So excited to get to work with him, and certainly love having different wideouts that bring different skills. And at the top of the list for Jamarian is certainly speed.
You talk about speed. He's also got the explosiveness, 14 yards a catch. That's something that adds to any wide receiver room.
There's no question. Obviously, explosive plays, that's something that excites you, and our ability to run the football to help set up explosive plays down the field. Certainly Jamarian can stretch the field and make sure that we dictate coverage.
One lone prep wide receiver joining Ball State football here in the 2023 signing class. Ty Curran, coach, you also know this family pretty well.
Yeah, I do. You know, Ty Curran, first of all, he was the first commit for our program in this cycle, but I coached his dad back in the day in the Arena League, and one thing that always stood out about his dad was just the attitude, effort, and determination, and that's the same thing that Ty possesses. Well, first of all, I got to congratulate his dad on being the head football coach at Holy Cross. Proud of him, but Ty is one of those guys that's joining our program mid-year, but just the toughness, the route running, the production, everything that goes into it. Boy, he has got such a high ceiling ahead of him, and he's going to be a great addition to our Ball State family here.
That's Ty Curran joining Ball State football from the prep ranks as a wide receiver. Switching over to the defensive side of the football on the defensive line, Deion Smith from Michigan City High School. Coach, this is somebody that really jumps out when you watch his tape.
Yeah, you know, and I appreciate you starting in the trenches on both sides of the ball and talking about this class here, but
hey, we know football.
That's right. You talk about Deion Smith. It starts, first of all, with his size, being 6'3", 275-pound, great frame. You talk about physically being ready to make the transition from high school to college, but this guy really stood out during the recruiting process, stood out at camp. This is one of those guys that has got a very high ceiling. He's got great measurables, great tools for the position. Can't wait to get him in here and go to work.
Somebody that also played both sides of the ball in the trenches. So when you get somebody like that, you know there's an attitude there in a good way.
There's no doubt. No, this young man understands what it's like both on the defensive line and the offensive line. And, you know, he's one of those guys that who knows, down the road we might slip him in over for a short yardage package over there on offense at some point in time during a game.
That's Deion Smith joining Ball State football on the defensive line. Joining Ball State's defensive line from Hillsdale College, Riley Tolsma.
Excited. First of all, starting with his size, being 6'4", 255 pounds. Very, very productive career at Hillsdale. This guy's got a high motor, explosive, plays with unbelievable effort for 4 quarters. I mean, he's one of those guys that can't wait to get him in here and go to work. We get him in here in January. Excited to get that process started, but he is going to be a guy that comes in and has a chance to make an impact for us right away.
Comes in as a graduate student, 6'4", from Hamilton, Michigan. One of the Chargers' top defensive linemen at Hillsdale College. Last 2 seasons were incredible. 2023 campaign, first team all-conference, had a career best 50 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 11 tackles for loss. One more defensive lineman committed to Ball State is Lassier Luter. Coach, he's another player on this defensive line that can come in and make an impact.
Yeah, and, you know, bringing Lassier in from Saddleback, he's one of those guys you look naturally at his size and go, man, this is a big man, 6'3", 340 pounds. Obviously, he's physical. When you talk about a guy being in the middle of your defense with that kind of size is awesome, but he's also one of those guys, too, that's got really good athleticism, moves extremely well for a guy of his size. So excited to get him in here. He'll be a mid-year guy as well, and can't wait to get in here and get the process started.
Joining Ball State football's outside linebacking core, Dan Gardner from Lawrence North High School.
Yeah, you know, we've had such an awesome run of young men from Lawrence North High School, you know, and welcoming Dan to our program. Here's a guy that's 6'4", 215 pounds, and playing that outside linebacker position, very similar to guys like Sidney Houston. You know, the production from Dan in high school, a team captain, really good versatility, always making plays, always around the ball, has a knack for making big plays, whether it's a sack or, you know, certainly he's done a great job in his career blocking some kicks, which is a welcome addition. So really excited about the addition here for Dan.
You talk about production, top 50 All-State team, 98 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, 8 sacks as an outside linebacker, defensive combo at Lawrence North High School. Leighton Starks also joining Ball State football on the defensive side as an outside linebacker during the 2023 signing class.
Yeah. Obviously, Leighton Starks is one of those guys, similar size as Dan being 6'5", 215 pounds. But really, during the recruiting process, he stood out as much as anybody during the camp circuit. He came here and turned a lot of heads during our prospect camp. And then you track him throughout the fall, just seeing his production on tape, his sack production. Obviously excited to have 2 young men like that in that outside linebacker room. And this guy's got such a high ceiling ahead, very athletic and runs extremely well.
High school state champion Sam Feeney from Bishop Chatard joins Ball State as a defensive player.
Yeah, you know, great addition to our linebacker room with Sam Feeney. Obviously, you mentioned the state championship piece of it. Here's a guy 6'2", 205 pounds, great instincts at that position, great football intelligence, loves the game, loves to study the game, wants to talk football, can't wait to get to work. Obviously, he's very aggressive, and you talk about being in the mold of an inside linebacker. Obviously, Sam is that, and can't wait to get him in here, and he's going to be a great addition to our program.
Sam was a tackling machine. 84 tackles just last season, 17 tackles for loss, and 8.5 sacks. Named the Indiana Football Coaches Association top 50 All-State team. That's Sam Feeney joining Ball State. Last position group to go over here on Ball State Football 2023 signing day. Will Yates joins Ball State in the defensive back group.
Yeah, excited about Will. Obviously, great size for that position, being 6 foot, 170 pounds. This guy was an explosive two-way player in high school. Really good with the ball in his hands, great ball skills, exceptional change of direction, really possesses all the tools and traits you look for to really be dynamic at that position in our scheme here. So really great addition, excited to add him to our family.
Yates was a second-team All-Southwest Ohio pick, first-team All-Conference selection in 3 varsity letters at Springboro High School. Out of Glenbard East High School, Eric McLean joins Ball State's defensive back group.
Yeah, a very similar skill set to what we discussed with Will. Here's a guy that's 5'11", 175 pounds, exceptional two-way player during his time in high school. When you look at the tape, what jumps off the tape more than anything is just his explosiveness, his change of direction, and his intensity. Obviously, he loves to tackle, and you can see the energy he possesses, certainly when he's in the open field. But he's one of those guys that also has really good flexibility in terms of being able to move him around, and really excited about that. And he's going to be a great addition to our family.
He was the team's defensive player of the year last season, 112 tackles, pair of sacks, also had 9 pass breakups. That's Eric McLean, defensive back, joining Ball State football. From Columbia Central High School, Jordan Davis joins Ball State's defensive back group.
Yeah, and here's a guy with great size, being 6'3". He's got a great frame to add weight. Those are always things that take place when you get to the college level. But common theme here, he also a very productive two-way player. He's one of those guys that's been a multi-sport athlete in high school, high-level athleticism. He's one of those guys that's got a bright future ahead of him. Excited to add him to our family.
Wrapping up the conversation on Ball State's 2023 signing class on the gridiron, Coach, almost 30 players committing to Ball State from the high school ranks and college transfer ranks. This is a very, very healthy football class.
Yeah, no question. I think it's got good balance to it. When you talk about young men coming from the high school ranks, we got 17 young men that we signed from high school, and then you talked about the transfer portal or guys coming from junior college. We've been able to sign 9 guys during this process that are coming from that avenue, and I think it's important too. Obviously I think about the Midwest and trying to do a great job at home, that 5-hour radius here from camp, and really want to give a shout out because our coaches have done such a phenomenal job, and you place so much value in those June prospect camps. We had 13 out of these 17 from high school that we were able to see at prospect camp, see them up close and in person, and those are a big part of the evaluation. And again, want to commend our staff for on a job well done, and a great class that we're excited about joining our family here at Ball State.
If you want to learn more about each signee, check out ballstatesports.com, go to the Ball State football page, and celebrate the new signees from the high school ranks and the college ranks joining Ball State football. This has been Coach New, Mick Tidrow, on Ball State's National Signing Day 2023 in the books. Looking forward to Ball State football season in 2024.